Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Everett is frightened under hypnotism. Harris and Ava snuggled up in bed at her apartment after a long night together. With a chortle, Ava noted that it was 4 p.m. and they should get out of bed. "You got nearly differently you've got to be right now?" Harris asked. "Nope," Ava said. Ava noted that her son was safe, and there was nowhere differently she wanted to be. Harris frowned. "What are you allowing?" Ava asked. "I do not want to ruin the mood," Harris said. Ava prompted Harris to open up. Harris admitted that he'd been allowing about Clyde and Goldman, and he bothered about their propinquity. "I am going to join the manhunt as soon as I can," Harris said. Ava pushed her hand against Harris's casket, and she advised him not to start that day. "You are healing really presto. It's like you nearly got all your strength back," Ava rumored. "Nearly," Harris said with a grin. Ava congratulated Harris's stamina, and they both chortled. "Should we order some further food?" Harris asked. Ava acted offended, and she reminded Harris that she was an excellent chef. "I just did not want to put," Harris said. Ava claimed that cuisine was one of life's topmost pleasures and that she was happy to cook for him. As Harris ate lunch in bed, Ava noted that there hadn't been important in the kitchen to work with. Harris raved about Ava's mess. With a moan, Ava said that she was pining pasta. "Do not tell me you are pining my seafood linguine?" Harris asked. Ava suggested that they go over to the bistro to cook regale, since the eatery was closed and completely grazed. "That sounds like a plan," Harris said. Ava claimed on planning and cooking the mess. "I just want you to know that I am a veritably tough food critic," Harris joked. Ava kissed Harris, and she noted that her refections were savory, succulent, and veritably satisfying. "Actually, who needs a fancy mess when you're all of the below?" Harris said. Harris kissed Ava. After making love, Harris and Ava agreed they demanded to make up for lost calories. Ava suggested they partake a shower before they headed over to the bistro. In the city forecourt, Johnny met up with Chanel outside the bakery. Chanel noted that the bakery was busy, and because her workers had been working overtime while Chanel had been with her mama in the sanitarium, Chanel had given the workers time off. "Break is over," Chanel said as she kissed Johnny farewell and returned to work. At the end of the workday, Johnny helped lock up the bakery while Chanel finished up with the last batch of chuck for the day. Chanel's phone buzzed, and she moaned. "I just got a big order for hereafter, so I am going to have to fix for it now," Chanel said. Johnny suggested that Chanel tell the client that it was too late in the day to place the order, but Chanel shook her head no. Chanel explained that if she didn't prepare for the coming day, the morning would be a agony. "How about you head home, and I'll catch up with you laterally," Chanel said. "Perhaps I can help," Johnny offered. With a boo, Chanel asked Johnny if he could singe. "I am no chef, but I can follow directions." "I will wash the dishes, tidy up," Johnny said. Chanel dithered, and Johnny noted that it would give him a chance to both help his woman and spend time with her. "Okay. But don't distract me," Chanel advised. Johnny switched an eyebrow, and Chanel laughed. Once Chanel and Johnny slipped aprons, Chanel talked about the wisdom and perfection of baking. "So, you are a scientist?" "I am impressed," Johnny said. Chanel gave Johnny orders, and he followed them. With a grin, Chanel noted that she forgot that they were married because their honeymoon had been so short. Johnny and Chanel agreed to travel to Italy in the future. "But in the meantime, how about we take Sarah up on her offer for the Horton family cabin?" Chanel asked. "How soon can we go?" Johnny asked with a grin. The newlyweds returned to baking, and Johnny nibbled at Chanel's neck until she kissed him. As the kiss grew more passionate, Johnny lifted Chanel onto the table. "Stay right then in the kitchen?" Chanel asked. "Why not?" Johnny said. Chanel noted that it was a health law violation, and she couldn't risk any trouble with the health department. With a shriek, Johnny agreed to stay. Chanel suggested they move to the stockroom. In the cemetery, Chad dropped off Easter flowers at Abigail's grave. Chad told Abigail about the Easter Day fests with the kiddies. "I miss you so much. I am sorry. The man who took you from us, he escaped. And it's all my fault," Chad said. Chad argued that his interview with Clyde had led to Clyde's retribution. "I just wanted to make him pay for what he did to you." "Rather, he tried to kill our babies," Chad said. Chad sniffled back gashes as he talked about the wildfire of the Horton house. "You spent all of your happiest days as a child there. I let you down, baby. And I let your family down. And now, you know, Clyde Weston escaped," Chad said. Chad promised to make effects right. Julie was looking at fabric tapes in the Horton house living room when Stephanie walked by. Julie thanked Stephanie for her help. I demanded fresh, youthful eyes on the house design. "I wanted to have new life, but I still wanted to say welcome home," Julie said. Julie told Stephanie that she had worked in home design in the history. I allowed. "Maybe you could use a affable diversion from Everett," Julie said. Stephanie asked about the time capsule, and Julie verified that she had been unfit to open it. "I am sure my forefather wanted everyone in the family to gather and figure it out and break it like a mystification," Julie said. Stephanie suggested that Julie post a picture of the box online to see if anyone had suggestions about how to open it. With a shake of her head, Julie said she wanted to concentrate on the emendations rather of the box. "Because I know that my grandparents would want this place to be ready for all the generations to come," Julie said. While Julie and Stephanie looked over the fabric tapes, Stephanie's phone buzzed with a textbook from a prospective new customer. "I could use the business, especially since I am dropping The Spectator," Stephanie said. Julie was surprised by the news. Stephanie explained that she hadn't made it sanctioned. "Because of Everett?" Julie asked. Stephanie explained that it was likely that Everett had dated her on the side when he'd been married to Jada. Julie heaved. "And now, Jada cannot stand the sight of me," Stephanie added. "It was not your fault," Julie noted. Stephanie explained that Jada had indicted her of consciously ignoring the signs of Everett's infidelity. "You cannot condemn yourself for Everett's falsehoods. You did not know what was going on. And you were devastated when you set up out he would been married to Jada," Julie said. "I was. And the timing could not have been worse. See, I was just starting to suppose that Everett was the one again. And also, everything blew up in my face again," Stephanie said. Stephanie admitted that she was furious with Everett. "And also I feel shamefaced for being frenetic. Like, why am I being unsympathetic to whatever it is going through?" Stephanie said. "Forget Everett. Forget Everett's problems. Darling, this is the time when you clearly should be allowing about yourself and taking care of yourself. And you are not alone," Julie said. Julie told Stephanie that when the Verity was out, she could lean on her family. Chad walked into the house. "I allowed. You were coming by here after?" Julie asked Chad. Chad told Stephanie that he was supposed to look over the kiddies' refashioned bedroom. "Is now a good time?" Chad asked. Julie refocused upstairs, and she invited Chad to have a look and also return downward and review fabric tapes with them. "I cannot stay," Chad said with a grin. When Chad returned from upstairs, he told Julie that the kiddies would love the refashioned bedroom. Julie went to the kitchen to snare snacks from a cooler, and Chad and Stephanie smiled amiably at one another. "The kiddies must be anxious to move back and then," Stephanie said. Chad noted that the kiddies were happy at the karaoke's manse with Maggie, but that they were looking forward to moving back home. "Any updates on Everett? Or is he going by Bobby now?" Chad asked. Stephanie admitted that she had spoken to Everett the former day about the need for a new PR establishment for The Spectator.